is. Hi everyone.
Hey.
Hi, welcome to Killing the Cliche, what the gurus get wrong and why you shouldn't listen. I'm Heather Paris of liveinspirednow.com. I am the founder of the Live Inspired Now Coach Training School, and I am joined by a very special guest this evening who is not only my best friend and an amazing coach, but he is also my husband.
Woo.
So this is Thad Paris. We are talking tonight about the phrase love is unconditional. We're going to dispel that phrase and give you some tips and techniques to improve your relationships. So let's get started. And first, I just want to thank you for watching and thank you for being with us this evening. And thank you so much if you are watching the replay. I have a very special offer for people tonight.
Ooh, who doesn't love a special offer?
I know, and I'm wondering how we're going to make that happen if you're just on your phone. So can you figure that out for me?
I can do it.
Okay, so tonight we are putting an offer out there for you, and I'll get into more detail after the broadcast, but I am giving away free one-on-one sessions with myself or Thad. So Thad's going to figure out how to put that link in the chat, and we'll take it from there. So tonight, love is unconditional. Is it? Is it? Say it out loud.
No way.
No way, Jose. It is not unconditional. And so all of this unconditional love might actually be setting you up for failure in your relationships. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see.
All right.
Oh, thank you. So let me ask you something. Have you ever loved someone that treated you badly, but you stayed because you loved them? Or because they loved you, right?
Yeah.
Or have you ever been too kind to somebody and then gotten taken advantage of? I think pretty much everyone has experienced that. I think it's safe to say, don't you?
Guilty of being too kind. Yeah.
Yeah, guilty of being too kind and taking advantage, because people who take won't set boundaries. People who give need to set the boundaries. So let's talk about, I want to share my story really quickly.
Okay.
So my first husband, not this guy, my first husband was an alcoholic. And back then I believed in the whole love, unconditional, and no matter what, you just, you are married, you love somebody, you tolerate anything. And so I learned pretty quickly that that is not sustainable for the long haul. So when you're married to an addict, a drug addict, an alcoholic, something like that, and you're having this like really terrible relationship and rough life, that to me, that's a condition that should be a deal breaker, right? And so unfortunately, I didn't learn my lesson the first time, but I got it right this time, so that's okay.
Hey, all right.
So we want to give you guys some tips this evening that are going to help your relationships, help you realize that loving with conditions is actually a much healthier way to have a relationship.
Yeah. I like talking about dating. Are you going to talk about dating?
I am going to talk about dating a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because
that's the best way for me to understand, like, the difference between conditions and unconditional.
Right. Well, exactly. And we're going to talk about that, but we can start with that. So, I get a lot of people, especially people who are in the personal growth and development arena or world, and they know that love is unconditional and have gratitude is the attitude and all of that stuff. And those are great, beautiful sentiments, but they're not always practical in everyday life.
Right.
So when you're dating somebody and you're choosing somebody to be with, love is not conditional. You can have unconditional love when you've made a commitment, a long-term commitment, but even then it's not.
Well,
Even then it's not unconditional.
Like all these dating apps that are out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put a set of conditions or criteria on your account to say, these are the people, I only want to filter these kind of people. You're setting conditions right from the get-go.
Right, exactly. And so for me, there's only one love that's unconditional. Only one love that's completely 100% unconditional.
What is it?
Do you want to know?
Yeah,
it is
tell us.
Self-love.
Right on.
Self-love. Not your love for your kids, and I know I'm going to get some screams about that.
Oh, boy.
Not your love for your spouse, but that is conditional, because I can tell you right now, if you were to pull out a knife and stab me or shoot me, I mean, we'd be done.
Yeah.
That would be it. Not to put those conditions on you, but I'm pretty sure you can handle it. You know, it's way back when somebody was telling me that love is unconditional, and if you put these criteria on your relationship, then you're setting yourself up for a fail. But you know what? I think that's a naive relationship, because I think you, and I'll just talk about our relationship specifically, I think you, and I know I, can handle some conditions. So if you punch me or stab me, I'm out of here. I won't continue to love you. I hope you understand that.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. Like even our kids, right? I mean, I really love all of my children, my biological children, my stepchildren, the heart babies, the children that we brought into our heart and home.
Yeah.
But I have boundaries, and if you cross them, I'm not going to be able to stick around. You know, I will not tolerate abuse.
Sure.
I did that for enough years to know that it's not healthy for myself, but it's also not healthy for the person that's doing it to you.
Right.
If you don't set up some sort of healthy boundaries, especially for your kids, then they learn how to treat people badly.
Yeah, and the person that's abusing you, you're teaching them that that's okay.
Right, exactly. And you teach people how to treat you with what you tolerate.
That is very true.
So the only unconditional love is love for yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself and forgive yourself no matter what.
I have a comment on that. So a lot of people would say, well, that sounds selfish or egotistical or self-centered or even narcissistic. But a good way to think about it is that self-love is like spirit love. So it's you're loving your spirit.
Your God, your God self,
yeah,
right?
Exactly, right.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. That's a good distinction. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Or your higher self, your higher power, whatever.
Right.
But, if God is me and I am God, and we're one, then you are honoring. And if you're a spiritual person too, you're honoring God when you honor yourself, when you have that level of self-love. And I'm not talking about, we're not talking about make
being
sure you
vain
or make sure you go and get your nails done and your massage for self-care.
Right.
No, we're not talking about self-care, although self-care is important too.
Yeah.
We're talking about a deep, abiding love of self, understanding that you are spirit and you are, godly, if that's what you believe.
That's a deep topic.
That is. So let's move on to less deep stuff.
All right.
You had some lint there. Sorry.
Oh,
okay.
Extra.
Love is something you do, not something you feel. That is a common misnomer.
Right.
So
I feel so in love. I hear it all the time.
Right. And so when you are
feelings don't last.
Right, feelings don't last, and when you're trying to force them because you think love is unconditional, you're not really serving yourself or your partner. Mm-hmm. Because love is something that you do. It's a commitment. It's not a feeling. Lust, excitement, that's all feelings.
Good ones.
Yeah, totally good ones. But love is something that you do. And your commitment is to your partner is not to tolerate abuse in any way, shape, or form, right? So we're talking about unconditional love. It usually means loose or no boundaries. We all have conditions. You just might not have defined what they are. And we talked about that a little bit too. Unconditional love would mean that you could love anybody for any reason at any time, and that's just not practical. And I was actually having a conversation with somebody today on the phone, and she was telling me that she felt really, really pompous or arrogant or guilty if she didn't have that sentiment about everybody, and if she didn't respect everybody.
Oh,
because she didn't want to seem like she was arrogant or pompous. You know, not like, in other words, she was confusing. Like, she had the sentiment, treat the waiter the same way that you treat the president of the company. Yeah, you treat everybody with equal kindness and compassion, and you know what I mean? Like, everyone deserves equal human rights, but not everyone deserves equal place in your life. You know,
that's
and
a
that's
good distinction.
Yeah, and that's what I realized, you know, when I was married to my first husband, that this is somebody who deserves kindness and, you know, care and things like that, but not to be my husband. You know what I mean? Like, he should have been a client, not a husband. So I think that that's a really important distinction, because people, especially people pleasers, people with gigantic hearts, and I'm one of them. I know you are one of them.
You do have a big heart.
Yeah. We can end up getting involved in people's lives that we shouldn't be, and we end up enabling rather than actually loving or helping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good distinction. Let's see. Oh, sometimes I have notes here, so I don't forget what to say. Sometimes loving someone means letting them go. Again, love is something that you do. It's an action. It's not a feeling. So if somebody is really, really unhappy with you, then the most unconditional loving thing to do would be to let them go, right?
Right.
Absolutely. So if you really need to believe that something is unconditional, believe that compassion is unconditional.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I like that.
To me, compassion is understanding. Well, love is action. Love is something that you do, but compassion is an understanding. I can feel compassionate even for murderers. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because I know, and you know, we practice compassion and empathy, and I know that every single human ever first started out as an innocent, beautiful little child.
Right.
And through whatever reason, they turned into this, you know, person that's evil or making bad choices or a murderer or, you know, whatever they are. And you can have compassion in understanding that that was a life that got turned into that way. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Right. So you're compassionate for that person, that human being.
But I don't love them.
Yeah, you don't have to love them, and you don't have to love their actions or
right. And you don't have to unconditionally love people that way either. Compassion, absolutely, because really, it's just a way to understand how they became that way.
Yeah.
Right. But that doesn't mean you have to love them. Yeah.
I love it.
I love you.
I love you.
Okay. Leave your relation. We talked about this in the last call. Leave your relationship better than you found it. Don't trash talk. Don't trash talk. If you're mad at your spouse or a guy you're dating or whatever, don't trash talk. That is not okay.
Right.
You know, leave your if you're gonna leave the relationship, leave it better than you found it. Creating boundaries for the health of your relationship. Oh, that was an example that I wanted to give too. Whatever the boundaries are in your relationship might be different than our boundaries. I mean, some people have really loose boundaries and that works for them. Some are really, really rigid and that works for them.
Right.
I don't know, we're probably average. I don't know. Maybe looser than average. I don't know.
We're above average.
Yes, we're always above average. No, but create those boundaries in your relationship. Like your rules for your relationship. If you're dating, talk about that before you get into a long-term commitment. If you're in a long-term commitment or you're married and you're having problems, sit down and come up with some agreements, some boundaries that you can have and agree on together. Oh, did you put the thing in there? Oh, cool.
Getting ready to, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, you can pop it in there really quickly and we'll talk about it again, but keep it queued so that we can post it again. So I am offering a free one-on-one session, 100% free, with myself or with Thad, and all you have to do is click the link in there that says book appointment, and you'll get an appointment directly with me. We can go over, any relationship challenges that you have, any struggles that you're facing in your life, your personal life, your your work. I'm not a business coach, and I don't like sports. So don't talk to me about sports or, well, I could help you with business, but that's not my preference. I want to hear what's going on in your life, your kid's life, your relationship. Those are the things that I specialize in and can really help you with. So let's get back on track. Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, boundaries. So one of the things we do in our relation, well, we don't like, it's not like something that we do, but we agreed on a long time ago. Like my phone, which I would show you what we're recording on, like Thad has access, we have access to one another's phones, social media, email, whatever. And that's not something that we had to agree on because there was an issue. Like we just always done it that way, right?
Yeah.
Like he could take my phone and I don't care, you know what I mean? And I bring that one up because it's so prevalent. I hear this one all the time. She locked me out of her phone. What is she hiding? He's got something to hide, So that's just one of the things that we do. The only time we don't share that level is in December because we're both Christmas shopping for each other. And then we have all these email receipts. Let's see. If you're single, be conditional. We talked about that, right?
If you're single and you know it, be unconditional.
If you're single and you know it, clap your hands. Oh, we can't clap.
Oh,
hey, clap your hands. Oh, no.
Simon didn't say.
If you're single, be conditional. That means no drunks, no druggies, no abusers. You wouldn't date a homeless guy that you meet on the street, not because he's not a human being that deserves love and kindness, but because he's not somebody...
He doesn't meet your conditions.
Right. He's not somebody that you should be in a relationship with. Not that he doesn't deserve human kindness. Of course he does. But you would not go pick up a date down in, at the homeless, whatever, park.
Well, unless you were volunteering and it was...
And he was a volunteer too.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe.
Maybe. Who
But,
knows?
and again, nothing against homeless people. Thad would tell you I help everybody, I've volunteered at the rescue mission and the VA and you name it. I've volunteered anywhere and I would help anybody. But I learned a long time ago that you have to have boundaries to keep people at a certain distance from your intimate life.
Right.
For your own well-being. Right? So if you're single, be conditional. And I mean, I say this every time, but I have to. Don't tolerate abuse ever, ever, ever.
Right. That's never okay.
It's never okay, especially in the name of love. Love doesn't hurt. It doesn't make you compromise your sense of self. But I love him, or but he loves me, is bullshit. It's not acceptable. If somebody is hurting you, not to say like once in a while somebody will hurt your feelings. I mean, we've said, things that once in a great while you snap.
Time. There was one time.
One time you snap at somebody and it's because it has nothing to do with the other person. We're not talking about normal day-to-day stuff. We're talking about mental, emotional, physical, financial abuse. Those things are not okay.
Yeah.
If you're unsure of what those things are, I want you to click the book appointment and book an appointment with me right now so that I can help you figure that out, because nobody should ever be abused or in a situation to be in danger or insecure. So we talked about love being in action, and if it's anything other than that, an action, a commitment to somebody else, like for example, if it's lust, if it's desire, obsession, ownership, and I hear that a lot more than I probably should. She is mine, he is mine.
Right.
I own that. That's all your ego. That is not love. That is not love.
Let go of the ego.
Right? Or I'm staying for the kids. I'm staying for the house. I don't want him or her to take my half of what I own. That is not love.
Yeah.
That
all
is not
ownership
love.
talk.
Right? Exactly. So I want to just say quickly, love selflessly. Let's see what I wrote. Love selflessly without expectations, but be willing to walk away if it's harmful to your well-being. So, and knowing that if you're in a relationship that harms your mental, emotional, social, financial, or physical well-being, that is not love. You do not love somebody unconditionally. You do not tolerate abuse ever. And you can say things, if you're in a relationship that doesn't feel like it's abusive, but it might be a little, I don't know what the word, not abusive, but it's, your partner might be a little more aggressive than you would like, or something like that, maybe verbally. You could say, or even with your kids, maybe you've got a snotty kid. We've all had to deal with that at some point or another. Yeah. And I certainly have clients that come in all the time that tell me that their kids speak to them in a way in which I would never tolerate. So I wanted to give you a phrase, something that you can say that might help you in those situations. And that is, I love you, but I will no longer tolerate abuse from you. If this continues, I will, move out, leave, divorce, break up, go to my room, go visit my mother for 3 days, whatever it is. So I love you, but I will no longer tolerate, and then you can say abuse, or you can say that type of language, or I will no longer tolerate you yelling and screaming at me. I will no longer tolerate you throwing things, whatever it is, put that thing in there. And if this continues, I will, and say what you're going to do. So I will no.
And then stick to it.
Right. I love you, but I will no longer tolerate X. And if it continues, I will X.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's just not worth it. It's not worth your time, your life, your well-being. And frankly, the other person needs to hear that. Sometimes people just don't know they're being a-holes.
Right.
Hard to believe, but sometimes people
possible.
Don't know. Absolutely. So I want to give everyone on this, even on the replay, a free session with myself. I have been a relationship...
Or me.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought I said that. Or you. We are relationship experts. We travel around. We give these talks. We have a relationship series online. And at this point, we have worked with thousands and thousands of people, and all sorts of testimonials, which are on the website, which is liveinspirednow.com. But I want to help you because we are givers, and we want to, really support people that are on this call. So if you would like a free one-on-one session with me or with Thad, and you haven't worked with us before, all you have to do is click the link. Would you mind putting it in one more time? Click the link and book an appointment with me, and I'm happy to help you with whatever you're struggling with. And we also have the Coach Training School, which is at liveinspirednowcoaching.com. If you are interested in becoming a certified life coach, and you don't have to use that certification to become a life coach, you can just use that to enhance what you already do, to enhance your skills. We have tons and tons of teachers and nurses, hairdressers, lawyers in the program, because they're using these social emotional intelligence strategies to really, really help their clients and to take their business further. So you could do it for that too, especially if you're a teacher, if you're in a classroom. These are things that you don't learn in teacher training, and they will really assist you with your students who are in crisis, who are at risk, and all the social emotional deficit that our students are facing today. This will really help you out a lot. So again, click the link, schedule a one-on-one with me. I'm happy to give you information during that call if you would like it, or a one-on-one session with me just to discuss whatever challenge you might be facing right now. And again, absolutely free, no obligation. Just click the link to book an appointment, and we'll talk to you soon. What do you think? Are we done for tonight?
That's it.
That's it. I think we killed another cliche.
Killed it.
Love is not unconditional. Unless you don't have any boundaries and you're wishy-washy.
Right.
In which case, I would say...
Make it unconditional.
Make some conditions. Make it conditional.
Oh, yeah, make it conditional.
Make it conditional. We are going to go snuggle and spend some alone time, quality time together.
QT with my cutie.
Aw. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Don't forget to book your session. I can't wait to talk to you soon. Have a great night.
See ya.